Hello, my name's Chris Day and I'm head of Modern Domestic Records. So here we have a photo album from 1873 from Wandsworth prison in London. Prisons and the police began to take photographs of criminals in this period as photography developed as a sort of science and an art, mostly because it allows you to keep track of people. If you have a photo of them, you know what they look like, so you know if you've seen them before, and it can stop people who maybe are repeat offenders or criminals several times over from sort of assuming other identities and going by false names to try and avoid punishment. So in this case, we're looking at a photograph of a young child who was imprisoned in Wandsworth. His name's Joseph Charman. He's a 12-year-old boy. He looks a bit younger, and actually if you look at his height as well, he's very short, so obviously he probably didn't have a great life as a child, quite badly nourished maybe. He has been imprisoned because he's been found guilty of what's referred to as simple larceny, so that's stealing to you and I really. He's stolen what's referred to as a tame fowl, which I'm assuming is probably a chicken. It's quite a minor crime really, you think you maybe expect a slap on the wrist, but we find when we look at the document, Joseph has been sentenced to 6 weeks of hard labour, so that's very difficult work, maybe breaking up rocks, and then 5 years in a reformatory. A reformatory is a sort of a school for children who have been convicted of crimes. It's basically a prison cum school, sort of young offenders institute. They'll be taught how to either prepared for a life in the military later on, maybe the Navy, so some of the reformatories are on ships, or they'll be taught a trade, but really quite harsh and unpleasant places to be. But we also find that he had previously been convicted of stealing some peas. For that he was in prison for 14 days and he was whipped, which is a very harsh punishment as far as we're concerned nowadays. The criminal system at this point was very harsh, particularly on anyone, even children. There wasn't any sort of an idea of what circumstances led them to commit these crimes. And there's no doubt that his childhood would have been very hard, both before he was imprisoned, obviously in prison particularly, when he was being whipped, and then his life on the reformatories that he was sent to the school ship Cornwall would have been very difficult, and he may not have seen his family again. But I really like these records because they give you an insight into sort of normal people's lives who have fallen foul of the law. And also you get to see their faces, which I really think means you can have more of a connection with the figures in the past, as opposed to them being just names on paper.